What makes a good game? Each genre of video game has different criteria and features to judge by. It's impossible to judge each game with the same criteria, however we can try as hard as we want to. It's also because of the same criteria we are too quick to judge, and some games can be left in the dust because of what is applied to us. In the case of Call of Duty, this franchise has been the main target for first-person shooters in modern gaming. Just like McDonald's is the poster boy for obesity, Call of Duty has garnered large amounts of attention and is an example that most gamers view first-person shooters. Why am I talking about this? I want to talk about Call of Duty in general, but more specifically, Modern Warfare 3. I want to talk about the game and all the shit it has gotten over time. No one bothers to question what specifically they hate about the game or why they hate it. Some take the time to make their honest opinion, most hate it just to jump on the bandwagon about Modern Warfare 3. I'm here to explain to the ignorant and to the uninformed the real reasons why Modern Warfare 3 did not do as well as it should have. The truth, surprisingly, is more complex than it seems to be. Let's start from the beginning of Call of Duty's renaissance into modern gaming. Nearly everyone who plays Call of Duty agrees that this game alone is the best game of all time, much less Call of Duty history. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is what most consider being the greatest of its kind. Call of Duty 4 featured the best elements of what made Call of Duty great in its World War II years and upgraded it on many levels. The original and true narrative of Modern Warfare and Civil War weaved fluently into the campaign, creating an action-packed cinematic story in the unrestricted form of a video game. It left us with fond memories and memorable characters as the final credits rolled. After those credits, the multiplayer introduced one of the greatest online experiences ever in gaming history. The balance of action, strategy, and combat were fully present in the game, and it still impresses us in every match. Even with hackers appearing in most games, Call of Duty 4 still manages to live up to its name and only gets better with age. Now, let's go forward approximately 2 years later, when the most anticipated game of all time was finally released, honorably named Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The campaign was, in my opinion, the best of the entire franchise. The story was dark in tone and extremely cinematic in feel, catering to my love for films. The story of an ultranationalist Russia invading the United States was absolutely stunning. The hunt for wanted international terrorist Vladimir Makarov was extremely fun to play and experience. I forget sometimes that it's a game, and I let the cutscenes and the cinematics work their magic as the greatest action movie of all time. This game was considered by most at the time of its release to be the best multiplayer experience they've ever had in Call of Duty history. The inclusion of an expanded created class system and customizable kill streaks ushered in a whole new level of excitement and fun. The maps were unique and created a whole new battle plan every time. Modern Warfare 2 was probably the greatest game in Call of Duty, setting itself on par with Call of Duty 4. This is where Call of Duty got good, and this is where the problem started. Modern Warfare 2 had raised the bar in terms of quality and quantity. Sequels had to be bigger, better, and louder. Each Call of Duty game now had to follow strict guidelines given by Activision, Call of Duty's publisher and distributor. Each game now had to be released before Christmas in the month of November. Each game had to have concurrent DLCs after its release. Each game had to reach record high sales and excellent ratings. This level of excellence could only be reached by the most successful, the most devoted, and the most creative developers under Activision's belt. This expected level of excellence was the expected of every Call of Duty developer in each installment for the foreseeable future. On March 1st, 2010, Activision fired 2 senior employees of Infinity Ward, President of Infinity Ward and CTO Jason West, and CEO and co-founder of Infinity Ward Vince Zampella, under suspicion of breaches of contract and insubordination. Through wiretapping and emails, West and Zampella were suspected of breaching their contract with Activision by attending meetings with video game competitor Electronic Arts and other major publishers. On March 4th, 2010, after being fired from Infinity Ward, West and Zampella filed a lawsuit against Activision over substantial royalties for payments that Activision failed to pay prior to their unemployment. The lawsuit forced Activision to pay the undue royalties to West and Zampella and secure contractual rights to the Modern Warfare series and Call of Duty. If their lawsuit was successful, the former employees would have the executive power to halt the development and release of any future games and DLC in the Modern Warfare series. Activision counterattacked, and on April 9th, 2010, a countersuit was filed by Activision, calling out West and Zampella as, quote, self-serving schemers, end quote. Activision also blamed Electronic Arts under the pretense of intentionally interfering with contracts, engaging in unfair competition, and aiding and abetting breaches of contract with West and Zampella. The countersuit also claimed that West and Zampella had refused to return all Activision property during their unemployment, namely computer code for their Infinity Ward 4 engine. Activision claimed that Wes and Zampella were motivated by envy and personal greed. For example, when Infinity Ward intentionally released game trailers for Modern Warfare 2 the same day Treyarch posted DLC trailers for Call of Duty World at War. To make matters worse, on April 27, 2010, 38 current and former employees of Infinity Ward brought a lawsuit against Activision. Calling themselves the Infinity Ward Employee Group, the IWEG demanded a settlement between $75 to $125 million in compensatory damages for unpaid bonuses for work on Modern Warfare 2. The IWEG also demanded $75 to $500 million in damages to the company. The lawsuit also claimed that Activision withheld compensation from the IWEG in order to force them to stay with the studio to develop the upcoming sequel, Modern Warfare 3. All these claims were scheduled for May of 2012, but got pushed back to June until Activision denied the trial and instead made a private settlement with Wes and Zampella for an undisclosed amount of money. The IWG was paid a settlement of $42 million, only a small portion of what the lawsuit demanded. As a result of these lawsuits, Infinity Ward lost 46 employees, many of them lead designers and programmers. Robert Bowling, the creative strategist from Infinity Ward, had left on March 27, 2012. Although an official statement hasn't been said, it has been suggested that he was unsatisfied with the Activision priorities on matchmaking issues and the community pressure from the weak condition of Modern Warfare 2 contributed to his resignation. Former IGN community manager Tina Palacios has replaced Robert Bowling's place as senior community manager of Infinity Ward. Now, I ask you, all the fans and gamers and haters of Modern Warfare 3, to ask yourself, what were they to do? What could they do after all that mess? When a troubled company with nearly half their employees missing and with the help of inexperienced developers to make the most anticipated game of 2012 from the high-quality franchise of Call of Duty, odds are that isn't going to happen. As a result, we got a mediocre game with an uninspired story campaign and a familiar and unbalanced multiplayer. And you know what? I still love it. I still love it to death. It's still a fun and interesting game to play. The campaign is still an adventure of cinematic proportions. Special Ops is a neat little bonus to play, whether you're playing with missions or survival mode. The multiplayer is still hectic as ever and still fun to play. When all is said and done, I still love Modern Warfare 3. Now, I understand that many of you who criticize Modern Warfare 3 have legit reasons for disliking the game, because of the map designs, the spawn system, or whatever. I can respect your decision. All I'm doing is showing both sides of the story. I have faith in Infinity Ward, and hopefully, when and if they take a shot at it again with Call of Duty Ghosts, they have the power and knowledge and creativity to make a record-breaking Call of Duty, and hopefully, you have faith too. My name is Nick, and I'll talk to you guys later.